Hello everyone, this is Dooney, and today I'm sharing a mixed media tutorial that is perfect for beginners. Okay, let's get started. I'm working in my A5 art journal and I've taped off the edges because I quite like to have a little frame around my artwork. Here I am selecting my collage and I've selected neutral ones as I will be adding more color on top later. I am ripping them up into small pieces and adding them with matte gel medium. Here I am using a silicone brush to press out all the air bubbles and to remove excess matte gel medium. I've also decided to add a little bit of stamping. I'm using a grid pattern stamp and black ink. I'm only adding it here and there for a bit of texture and some additional accents. While that is drying, I am coloring in my focal image, which is a butterfly, but it can be anything that you like. I'm using some muted violet ink and watering it down and then coloring it in lightly. I'm also using a water-soluble crayon in a similar color. Next, I'm adding a bit of ink in raw umber. I'm just dropping it here and there, not much, and then I'm thinning it down with water. I'm using my favorite mop brush to smoosh it around on the paper randomly. I've also decided to add some muted violet ink to tie in with my butterfly. I add even more water and tilt the journal to make the colors flow into each other. Once that is completely dry, I will be adding white gesso with a small brayer. I very gently go over the page with the brayer in a diagonal motion. I use the baby wipe to expose some areas that I like. When that has dried, we're going to add just a little bit of acrylic paint on our non-stick baking paper and diluting it with water, with lots of water. I'm using a paintbrush to spread it a little bit. Now we are going to carefully press it down onto our page. I made a bit of a mess on my table, but I can wipe that up with a baby wipe. Just press it down in random areas, it gives such a lovely texture. And I'm doing the same with the other color. If there's too much water on the page, you can always mop that up with a kitchen towel. I made a bit of a mess on the other side, but I can always cover that up in a later project. With a water-soluble crayon, I'm adding interesting marks here and there. They can be totally random, they don't have to be the same size. And it's really fun to add more interest to the page. Once the page has completely dried, we'll be adding some more stamping. I'm using my favorite text stamp, and I'm using black ink. As you can see, I'm only stamping parts of it. I'm also using this very fun vintage postcard stamp. Again, I'm only using part of the stamp. Now it's time to stick down your focal image the same way as you did with the collage with matte gel medium. Make sure to wipe away the excess. In the final step, I'm adding some finishing touches. Here I'm using a jute cloth and some gold paint and adding that to the page in random areas. I'm also adding some splatters with white acrylic paint. And this is what the final page looks like. Thanks for watching. See you next time.